Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Disc Golf Daily. I am here with someone that you may not know about, probably don't, but you definitely do know about his product and his company. I am here with Ryan, the owner of Brixton Disc Golf, which is a card company specific as of right now for making memorabilia in the form of cards for disc golf. So Ryan, how are you doing? Just tell us about more about a little about yourself and what you do, and yeah, we'll start there.
Sure. What's going on, Ben? It's good to see you again. Yeah, my name's Ryan. One of the owners of Brixton Disc Golf. We make the sports trading cards for disc golf, like you just said, and just been kind of learning a lot about it since we started this. We got started about 2 years ago, so we've just been really busy trying to learn as much as we can ever since we started.
So tell me more about kind of how you got that start. What made you realize? Because creating trading cards, I feel like is very difficult. What made you like just go for that and realize this could be?
Man, it's complicated because I wouldn't call it difficult, but it can be difficult. So I don't even know. But we started off. We wanted disc golf cards. I was very I was trying to chase down and collect them, and I'm big into autographs and memorabilia cards and stuff like that. And I've got a lot of all types of cards, but for especially disc golf, that's what I during that time. That's what I was chasing, and I could only find so many disc golf cards that had memorabilia in it or had autographs on them, and so I was chasing the same seven cards. And once you kind of got them all, it's like you start over and you start collecting them again. But I just wanted more, so I just kind of started poking around and seeing what we could do to, kind of get that. It started off as small as you can possibly imagine. It was just me and a buddy, and I contacted him. I said, "Hey, I want this card, but it doesn't exist. Can you help me? Can you help me make it?" So we kind of went down that path just to kind of figure out what it would take to make it. And making the cards. I guess this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. But making the cards themselves is fairly simple process. But doing it large scale, making sure you have all the permissions, all the licensing in place. That's a really that's where I guess it gets complicated. But my plan was just simply let's get the cards made. I'll show up at these events. I'll get them signed personally, and that'll be that. And that's kind of how it all started, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. So you showing up to these events kind of off the bat and stuff like that. What was like the most difficult thing when first starting? Because for my expo was kind of difficult to sell people because it was the only expo. No expo had existed before, so it was difficult to get people on board. And I'm sure it might have been more difficult for to get people on board for these training cards because it was a thing in disc golf, but I don't think it was necessarily done consistently or even done really as well as you guys are doing it with the whole memorabilia and the autograph. So what take us through that first kind of initial year. What was the struggles behind it? What was making people skeptical and not early adapters? And then on the inverse after that, just talk to us about kind of how you eventually made your way to be the disc golf card that everyone knows and loves.
It was at first, Ben, we had no money, zero money at all. So that's the first challenge, but at the same time, our expectations were very low. It's not like we were out there trying to get pro tour licensing or anything at that point. So very, very low expectations. But we were a Twitter account at first. There was a Twitter account that said Brixton, and all we did was share eBay auctions for cards. So we were just sharing those, and during that time, we noticed OTB Disc out in California in Stockton. Everybody knows OTB.
Yep.
They were liking all our posts, and we had like 2 people liking them. So it was obvious. Like I was like, oh my god, OTB! They're probably like working on a set or doing something. And we're probably too late because I loved the idea. I loved everything about it. It just seemed like so much fun. So I was like, well, somebody else is going to be doing it then because it's so, like, I guess, obvious, you know. But we talked to them, and they're like, no, we're not making anything, but we would love to. So I talked to my buddy, and I was like, man, I think we can figure it out, you know. So we started just poking around, and it's literally just about having a ton of calls and figuring out what questions you have to answer. So it's not always about finding the answer, but finding the questions that you need to answer. But we did all of that, and to answer your question, like OTB made it so much easier to like penetrate. So our first set was with the OTB sponsored team, which means ton of huge question marks. Like, how do you approach players? How do you like convince them that I'm not going to put you on something that looks like it's from the Dollar General, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to create something that's going to negatively impact your brand. So OTB gave us that opportunity, and we knew like, okay, well, this is like a great opportunity that they've kind of like blessed us with. So let's do right by them and be good partners to them. So we it just became a matter of like making sure the product worked well for them, that it performed well for them, and that was our goal, just to kind of make that work. And in return, they like made it streamlined, as streamlined as you can make it. So they got us access to the event where we got them autographed. It was the Champions Cup. They gave us like their full player list. So they prepped the players. They let them know like, hey, these guys exist. They're going to be showing up here. Just meet that. So that's a whole like side of the puzzle that OTB kind of streamlined for us. That we got to punt that part kind of down the road and see what worked, what didn't work, and like how can we improve that process. But it went really smooth. It was awkward, like because these are my this is who I watch. I put me in front of Tom Brady or somebody. It's not that big of a deal to me, but sit me down in front of James Conrad and I clam up a little bit. So that was like I still struggle with that. So probably always going to struggle with it, but it's a good thing because it's like I'm a fan. You know, I enjoy the process. I enjoy the entertainment value of this whole thing and the role that each of the characters play in it. I truly enjoy that. So it makes the product better. But yeah, the whole process was, and the whole time, Ben, you're thinking like, what is going on? Like, how am I getting to do this? Like, just if it would have stopped right there, like I would have been happy. Just like that experience alone, like getting to go there with my wife, us like try to. Like we were on a mission, you know, we had to, she didn't have a ticket, so we had to get her in, and then we had to find all the players, and she would watch like OTB skins with me, so she knew all the players, and she'd be like, oh, Kevin Jones, you know? So she was helping me out, but that whole process is like, I don't know, it's magical, like thinking back on it, like it's very good memories.
Yeah, I think I have a Cole Montgomery card from your first run, I guess we'll call it that, with the whole OTB Chasing the Bees. Shout out Mark. He ran like he ran a contest or something, and I don't even know how I won it, but I got Colton Montgomery, and then he pulled Colton Montgomery, so he sent that to me. It's still at my tackle store, which is pretty awesome. So recently, you know, you guys have evolved from that to. You released the Golden Era. You released another set with the, if you can just refresh my memory, I know it was an homage.
We with the Golden Era, we did the Tour Series as well, which we did earlier this year
Mm-hmm.
again. And prior to that, we released the 2023 discard set, which is like,
Discards, yeah.
yeah, there's a gentleman named Will West out of California who in the 90s he had like, some people were saying we were early for cards. So this guy's in the 90s making cards. So I mean, he was a visionary, and thank God he did what he did, because he gave us, here we are 30 years later, we still collect those cards, and it gave us something to kind of like chase after, that was out of the normal. So really appreciate what he did. We have a Ken Climo rookie card because of Will West. So wanted to do something there, and we had some conversations with some people that knew Will, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And it was something I was pretty excited about. But the Tour Series is great. Golden Era was a big hit. Um, those are still going crazy for people who haven't opened their boxes. Like, those are selling on eBay right now for quite a bit.
How
I'm
much?
always surprised. I think the last one I saw was like $400, and
Yeah, it's insane.
it's crazy. There's 5 packs in there, so people are basically paying like $100 a pack, which is just wild to think about.
I didn't think it'd be as big as it become. If you look up on eBay right now, you could see Brixton cards of of people in disc golf, these pros that we know and love, with cards going all the way from $100 to $40 to like $20, just a whole wide array. And these are you can flick the sold cards, and these are sold cards. Where I'm going was this: is this kind of has this been kind of like unreal, something you weren't expecting, or did you know like there's a huge disc golf card collector community, and I know like the resellers market is gonna blow up, and that there's gonna be a huge demand for these type of stuff.
I had like suspicions, but there's no like clear data. It's not like I can go open a book and be like, well, how's the disc golf market doing? Or card market specifically. So it was weird. Like, there was definitely some leaps there. We had the same cards that I was paying $10 for years before are now going for hundreds of dollars. It was obvious, like, there was more competition. So if I'm can find a card on eBay in 2018 for $10, and I'm the only one bidding on it, and that same exact card in 2021, would have to pay $150 if I want that card, and it's even more now. It was just obvious, like, okay, there's more interest. There's obviously like a lot of growth in disc golf, but it's hard to like attach a number to it, or like a strength, like a strength of market. It's very tough. So we knew there was something, and we've underestimated it like every step of the way. So with the OTB box, we sold out of that product in like, it was maybe on the shelf for a total of 5 minutes, which was insane. Like, our first product that we kind of put out there, it was a situation where people were like kind of waiting in a virtual line, like an iPhone or something, like they were sitting there clicking refresh, for when they can buy it. So I was like, well, I knew at that point, like, we had something like special. But again, I didn't know, like, okay, so it's got a good floor. What's the ceiling like, So we had to figure out, well, how can we test that? And that's when we kind of rallied into the Golden Era and the first Tour Series cards. And we were like, all right, it's a pre-sale. No product even exists. It's just pictures of product we want to make. And let's see where the ceiling is on that. And we were kind of blown away by that. And then we based all our calculations off the demand during that response. And then when the product was actually out, and I sent a box to you, Ben.
Yeah.
When those boxes started getting open and people were opening the pack, and Simon's opening packs, and Adam Hammis is opening packs, and all these people are getting excited, and people are watching the videos, and they're sharing the excitement. It took on like a life of its own, and we sold when Simon did his live stream. We sold out within 24 hours. Not just us, but every retailer around the world, except for there's a guy in New Zealand who wouldn't ship, and he was the only one that had them at MSRP after Simon's live stream. So it tells me two things. Simon's a needle mover, first
it's
of all.
incredible. We could go on and on about that, but his pull is
not
huge.
to derail, but to see what he did for MVP, to the glitch he did with Power Grip, to see the numbers that they did just with that glitch. Simon truly is a needle mover, and but it also told us about, like, okay, there's a larger market to be discovered here, and most people still don't even know disc golf cards exist in this capacity. So it's our job to kind of go out there and create value, continue to create collectors, and make better products. This is a lot of fun. We want to see it grow and thrive,
So, talk to me more about the designing process. Do your partner design, or do you have like maybe an in-house designer? And just talk to me how you come up with these different ideas, like, and also talk more about kind of your upcoming set where you have these ideas. Like where did the Tokyo ideation come from?
Yeah, it's a process. Jason is my partner, so a lot of people in the disc golf card collecting group, they know Jason, but he's like me. Beyond the disc golf card collectors, probably not a recognizable name, but Jason is like, I've known Jason since I was a kid, and Jason is like the smartest guy I know. Like, he was best man at my wedding. Like, I love Jason. And Jason is so smart. But anyways, any business that I'd worked on, I'd always talk with Jason. Me and Jason were making these businesses back when we were like 15, 16, not real businesses, but just thinking them out till we get to a stopping point or something else becomes more fascinating, But we would just kind of figure out as much as we could with the resources and the knowledge we had. And then that kind of evolved to when we were adults, and I, said, hey, you want to try this thing? And he came on board. But the design is like it truly is a process. I'm not sure when to like start with the explanation, but you can zoom out really far, and you deal with a bunch of numbers, and it's like all numbers. And then the more you zoom in, the more it becomes like design oriented. The design starts with like the numbers, like it just gets so broad and fuzzy. Like, so it starts at the product level. Like, what kind of product do we want to create? Is this an economical product? Is this geared towards like entry level collectors? Is this at a price point where we want to keep it at that entry level, or is this a product that's geared more towards like people who would budget more than the average person would for disc golf cards? Do they want something a little bit more premium? So there's all different like itches on the back that you can scratch of the collector, and each product is going to do a better job of scratching one than a different product. So the design kind of starts there, and like, what do you want to build? What can you do? And then it's almost like a theme, but you kind of almost create all these check boxes. Like, I want this set to do this, I want it to do this, and I want it to do this. And then you just kind of have to be creative and come up with ways that it does those things and creates value for all the partners involved, from the collectors to the players to the retailers, on up to like the Disc Golf Pro Tour. The specific designs, a lot of times I'll come with concepts. Me and Jason will bounce them off, and it's like I hold the hand of the idea earlier, and then Jason holds the hand of the idea like later on, more so. But we take turns like co-parenting,
Yeah.
But it's a process, and it's evolving too. So our process this time is a little bit different from our process the previous time. We do have more people we're working with, so there was a time where every single thing had to be done by either me or Jason, and now we're at a time where it's like there's not as much stress. It's still like too much stuff to do, if I'm giving an honest like
Yeah,
opinion on
I get it.
like workload and balance, but it's getting less. We get to focus more on where we'll make the most impact.
Got it. Thanks for the answer. I appreciate it. So with this journey, can you just name me your either some or just your favorite moment in creating this trading card business, whether it's just like with a player or a story or a customer, just if you have any moments where you're like, this was awesome.
Dude, we when we pitched OTB with like nothing, and they were like, "This sounds so much fun." Like that was an awesome moment. When we took the cards to get signed, and I remember Paige Pierce. You know, like I was like, "Oh my God, 5-time world champion Paige Pierce. What am I gonna do?" And she was so cool. And then like she took a picture, and nobody like knew we existed really, you know. And she went on her Instagram and posted that picture and was like, "Y'all be sure to check out Brixton. They're the real deal," like something like that, you know. But it was like the coolest thing. And another Paige Pierce story, another moment, but it just happens to feature Paige Pierce. We like so for OTB we didn't handle payments to the players, and then we really want to create value for the players, and we know we are like not at full maturity, but we want to make like an impact. So I remember Paige came up to us afterwards, and we handed her a check. It was like in an envelope, and I don't know, like I'm not familiar. I'm not an expert on like players, you know, like I don't know the ins and outs of their businesses, their lives, their personal, all that. All I know is like our relationship. And she said, she just gave her like a very heartfelt thank you to shorten this story up. A very like heartfelt thank you, and that was like that meant so much. So I just really appreciate like when players or when collectors and they tell us, because we spend so much time like in the basement, you know, just working on things. And so when we hear stuff like from the players that lets us know that we're like doing the right thing and heading the right direction and providing value, like ultimately like providing a value to them, that's always like just a huge highlight.
Yeah, it's funny how like kind of the moments when you're first starting out and very unsure of yourself, when something kind of pushes through and is successful, those are like the moments. Like that's me too. The moments I have like with the expos is like that first 100 people waiting in line the first year. I was like, this is the best thing. And when I had 500, 600 people waiting in the second line, in line the second year, way more. But that first year, it just meant like it was just like it was just special.
It was big.
Yeah, it was like even
I got
though
to watch it in real time, Ben. That was so cool. Like watching your lives, like your excitement, like going through, like that's so real, and like that's. There will be times where I'm like so hyped up. Like my poor wife, like I'll have to just unload so much on her because I'm just so hyped up. Like I'm so excited to work with the people I get to work with, and the mediums we get to work with. And I imagine it's like very similar for you. Like it's just a dream come true. I can't believe this situation's like
correct.
working. Like I can't believe people are like enjoying it and being able to create value off of it, you know? So it's a great thing, man. You should be really proud of yourself for what you've done, because it was like, I'm surprised more people aren't coming at disc golf from like different angles, but you were able to successfully like penetrate disc golf from a different angle. Like it wasn't a crowded street. There wasn't a like obvious playbook. And you took from your surroundings and kind of made it more. And that's a builder, you know, like
Thank
that's
you.
what builders do.
Yeah.
And builders get excited when it goes well. So congratulations to you for honestly just pulling that whole thing off at such a young age, because I would have just been lost at that age.
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Obviously, the expos mean a lot to me, and you know, every year is just incredible. But yeah, just that first year, just seeing like just that people cared after not knowing if it would work out. It was just like it was special in its own right. That like I don't know if I'll ever be able to explain it. Um, because that first moment when you are like first successful is just like it's that moment, and you sure you'll keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but like it's just something about that special initial moment that just
You
stays
don't
with
even
you.
believe it. You
Yeah,
don't
it
even
stays
like.
with you. Where it's like now that we're like more assured, like okay, yeah, this works now. It's a lot better mental health wise, but it's like that success when you didn't know if it was going to work out. It's special. You have a product in the works. Pre-orders are out now. Before we let you go, just tell us more about kind of this box that you are going to be releasing.
Sure, it's our most like economical product we've ever like created. It's definitely driven towards that entry level collector, but at the same time, it does a really good job. Kind of, I was talking earlier about scratching the back of the serious collectors. So you're going to find on card autographs, event used memorabilia inside the card. There's going to be a few things in there we've never done before. So there's a lot to be excited about. Also, this set features the Paul Macbeth Legacy Series, which is just, it reflects on the past 10 years, even beyond that, of his career and just the impact he's had on disc golf, and just celebrates it. But that's a really great series. And we got to do a lot of things we've never got to do before, including work with Paul. So we were excited about that. But it's a great set. Look for chase cards like Tokyo, Rookie Showcase. We feature, bless you, we feature the 2023 rookie class, which is just loaded with stars. Joseph Anderson's, who's absolutely killing it. Braden Sides, who I just saw you have an interview with the other day. But there's some really talented younger kids in there on the FPO side too, with Cadence Burge and Annalie over in Europe. So there's some really great things about this set. Our pre-sale started just last week, so it's still fairly new. But we've had a great response so far, definitely stronger than what we expected. So we're trying not to sell out too fast, and I don't know. I guess I got to pump the brakes on trying to push sales and doing podcasts. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's a really, really good problem to have. So, yeah,
100% blessed.
If you want to are pre-sales still available?
Yeah, they're still available. We kind of had it set up at a tiered pre-sale where it kind of started at this discounted tier, and then after 500 boxes sold and so on. So we went through all those tiers. So right now it's $74.99. The MSRP is $79.99. So you can still get a $5 discount. We also have our XL packs, which is like a retail specific product. Those are available as well. The odds are chopped up a little bit differently, so be sure and check that out and do your research there. But it's a really good product and great if you just want to spend $10 and kind of dabble in the hobby rather than fully commit. So those are great products. You can go to our website, brixtondiscgolf.com right now and pick up that. We expect the product to be shipped out by late August, and everything looks on track. Everything looks beautiful. I actually have some of the cards right here. So we were talking about, let me find the camera. This is his rookie showcase card, autograph. So this is the first time it's been seen out in the public. Brand new from Sayananda. This is somebody everybody's really excited about Sayananda. She's got a great autograph.
That's awesome.
And of course, all the classics, AB, Kristen Tatar. So that's going to be one of the bigger hits right there, the Brixton Elite Gold. We have another thing that we haven't talked about publicly yet. So we have the inscripted subset that you see with AB.
Yep.
So it's inscripted. There's 50 of these made. Let me make sure my numbers are right. 50 of them made. But then we also have a hidden subset called unscripted, which we put a few cards in front of the players and said they could do whatever they wanted with them. So you saw some really interesting personality come out in the cards, and I'll take my time making sure you see all these. So this is one of Kona's. She drew this on there, so that's like a Kona original right there. But
Wow.
Beautiful drawing, super cool, personalized. Here's one of Isaac Robinson's. The boys, you know, this is going to be one of the most prized cards in the whole set. And it's one of those where we really don't plan anything. We just give them a platform and let the players do what they want. And I mean, this is an amazing card. Here's one of Big Germ. See if I can hold it steady. But he always does the most fun stuff with his. We have a ton of these that I can't wait for everybody to kind of see all the different directions the players went with them. But they're very cool cards. Oh my gosh. Here's one that everybody's excited about. This is the Decade of Dominance. God, I'm terrible at this. Paul Macbeth card. This is the number to 10 version. So there's 10 of these out there. The 1 of 1 dark version, that's the card that Adam Hammis put a $2,500 bounty on. So speaking of like prices and things that they're going for, that's the highest I've ever seen. And there's chatter out there that it was too low. So I was shocked by that. But we'll see what it actually ends up going for. Maybe a bidding war will happen. Maybe $2,500 will be the price, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I saw that's very exciting, and it's crazy that a disc golf card, you know, for $2,500, someone wants it for that much. But it is 1 out of 72,000 odds, so I can understand.
It is. We had one. It had Calvin Heimberg's first league ace disc in it. And if my memory is correct, I believe it went for $1,400.
The bounty.
So it's a 1 of 5. No, well, somebody just paid for it. That somebody listed it on eBay, and somebody paid $1,400 or right around there. I'm not sure the exact price, but for that card. So that was, I think, the second most money anybody's ever paid for a disc golf card. With the first one, I think is like right at 2,000.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I saw that League Ace one, and I thought it was super cool. So I do have one more question before they go. I don't know if you're like able to say this, so feel free if it's something you're not able to say. But when you're like, how do you even put the cards in the pack? Is it random? Like you just put a bunch of cards in the machine, or are you like looking at, okay, this one will be good here, this one's good here, we'll put some base ones in this pack? Like, are you manually doing it, or is it kind of just random, if you can?
I mean, every time we've ever done it, it's been like computerized random. But even I never know how deep to go with questions, because there's like a really long answer that gets technical, but I'm sure nobody cares about that. But yes, it's randomized.
Okay.
We randomize the cards before they go through the randomizer, if that makes sense. So it's like double random.
Yeah. So it's just like it's you know, no one knows what they're gonna get. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's not like you're stacking the 5 decades of dominances in one pack.
No, there's another product that I'm like working on. That's why I get confused all the time, because I have like a product I'm working on now versus a product that's like in front of the curtain right now, and I have to be able to like talk about that in front of the product curtain, or in front of the curtain product. But that product is going to be like, the one I'm working on now is more of like I'm going to have to like hand randomize that product, just because of a couple of things. But it'll ultimately be a better product because of it. But that's going to be a really cool product. But that's the first time we've ever done like a hand selected, hand randomized product. It's all been like very out of our hands type situation before.
Cool. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely gives me in the audience some insight of like kind of what's going on. So is there any last shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
I don't know. I've never done this before. Jason, my partner, that guy's great. He's so cool. All of our collectors, our Brixton boardroom people out there, thank y'all so much. The collectors are the whole reason this whole thing works. All the players that have ever, like, if you've worked with us, you've taken a chance with us. So thank you for all those huge leaps and all the micro favors in between. And we, we're going to work really hard to repay all those and just provide value for every retailer providing us that valuable real estate space and on their counter or on their shelves. Thank you for that. And anybody who's ever spent a nickel with us, just thank you so much. Everything counts. And, it's really we're in an industry and centered around products that just your participation, like even if you never spend money directly with us, just you participating and enjoying disc golf and enjoying the breaks, all that stuff helps us out in some way, form, fashion. So just super appreciative, thank you to all the fans out there and just everybody who plays a part in all of it. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. So thank you.
That was a great shout out. You say you've never done this before, but that was one of the best. So thanks.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a great one. Big thanks to Ryan from Brixton for coming on Disc Golf Daily. We will see you next Sunday. Thanks again, Ryan. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really does help us grow.